Mike's one.
I'll let it go this time. The next time he's getting, I'm gonna give him a week.
100%.
I mean, you know, he's gonna do it or he gets fired. That's it.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Yep. Yep. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. Inadequate notice of this meeting has been provided by notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the township website. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Oh, no.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our servicemen here and abroad. Okay, roll call. Okay.
Mayor Du Bois,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Capides,
Here.
Committeeman Huber,
Here.
Committeeman Kaiser,
Present.
and Committeeman Weber will be up shortly, and he's coming
There he
right
is.
now.
Look at that. He just likes to make an entrance.
We have a sighting.
5 minutes, 5.
Shall we have trumpeters play you in? We just started. Just yell here. It's a rough crowd. It's packed house tonight.
You're lucky the door wasn't locked.
We have to keep everybody entertained.
Okay.
Okay, before we begin with the proclamations and announcements, I just wanted to say that the township will begin summer hours on Friday, May 31st, with the municipal offices closing at 1 p.m. So just jot that on your calendars in case you need to come by and visit our offices. Twice a week, proclamations and announcements. Twice a week garbage collection begins this week, Monday and Thursday, or Tuesday and Friday. Recycling for the entire township will continue to be on Wednesday. Primary election day is Tuesday, June 4th. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Townwide garage sale is coming up Saturday, June 15th and Sunday, June 16th, followed by my favorite time of the year, bulk pickup on June 19th and 20th. You can register online for the garage sale. Electronics recycling continues to be held on the first Saturday of every month at the pool. DPW has also added the third Sunday of every month. Hours for both days are 7 to 11 a.m. Now we're going to get started. We have a few proclamations. First proclamation is for National Military Appreciation Month. Whereas the freedom and security that citizens of the United States enjoy today are direct results of the bloodshed and continued vigilance given by the United States Armed Forces over the history of our great nation, and whereas the sacrifices that such members of the United States Armed Forces and of the family members that support them have preserved the liberties that have enriched this nation, making it unique in the world community. And whereas the United States Congress in 2004 passed a resolution proclaiming May as National Military Appreciation Month, calling all Americans to remember those who gave their lives in defense of freedom and to honor the men and women of all of our armed services who have served and are now serving our country together with their families. And whereas the months of May and June were selected for this display of patriotism because during these months we celebrate Victory in Europe Day, Military Spouse Day, Loyalty Day, Armed Forces Day and Week, National Day of Prayer, Memorial Day, Navy Day, Army Day, and Flag Day. Now, therefore, I, Erica Du Bois, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby proclaim May 2019 as National Military Appreciation Month in the Township of Springfield and encourage all citizens to join me in showing their gratitude by the appropriate display of flags and ribbons. Now, Jerry, and if you'd like to come on, I think now might be fitting, right, to come on up? It might fit right in, so.
Hi, my name is Jerry Ann Casmore. So I organized the Memorial Day Parade. Thank everybody for coming. I appreciate it. The veterans really appreciate it. We had a really great turnout. The veterans are really excited. I know that, they look forward to this. They look forward to seeing all the people lining the streets. They look forward to seeing all the people that were there. For you that weren't there, we have the kids come up, they serenade them with You're a Grand Old Flag. It's a sing-along, so we do have, everybody in the audience is help singing along as well. And one of the things I want to mention is to the, really all the organizations were great. I had put some people in and asked them they wanted to ride their bicycles and, decorate their bikes. They could come up and ride down Mountain Avenue. A couple people took me up on the offer. That was great, too. We always appreciate that. Always want to have an Old Town, parade. One of the other things, too, that I want to mention is we have the banners up. I don't know if you've seen them, the Hometown Heroes. We were able to get the last 5. Actually, we've got 2 more banners to put up, but otherwise, most of the banners are up. Another thing I want to mention is the Elks Lodge. I know, Rich, you're an elk.
They did a great job.
You know what? They handed out over 500 hot dogs.
Wow.
So that was just...
And probably double that amount of water bottles.
Right. And but you know what? But there were people that didn't come. So that really is a great turnout. That's the way we really gauge a little bit of it. In the Kane University, they had their trolleys, which were great because it took a lot of the veterans down there. They're getting a lot older, and they love it because the trolleys give them a great view, and they can wave to everybody. Everybody waves to them. And but I do want to mention the Springfield Hillside Elks as well, because I am a member as well, and I'm just proud of of what they do, because they really are an organization for special children and for veterans. That is really what they do, and so they love doing this as much as we love the benefits of it. And it was just great seeing all the veterans out there and kind of hanging around and talking and stuff. So I appreciate everybody who came. I hope everybody had a great time, and we look forward to next year.
And I just want to add that at the end, the softball game that they did was great because they got the young ones involved, and they knew why they were there at first, and they had fun, and it was just a fun afternoon after a solemn morning. And it was really a great event. And it was a ton of fun. So everybody who put that together, I think, did a great job also.
Well, I'd like to I think it's great really for baseball, hot dogs. The only thing we're missing is the apple pie, but that's because the health.
That's next year now. Now you have to bring apple pie,
The health
Jerry.
department won't let us have that.
How do you bake? How well do you bake? Let's go.
But thanks again, everybody. It was
Thank
great.
you.
And
Appreciate
thank
it.
Donnelly, because she helps coordinate all the townspeople to come, and so we really, we couldn't do it without her. All right?
Thank you. The next proclamation is for CERT Week. Whereas the Citizens Emergency Response Team, or CERT for short, program educates volunteers about disaster preparedness and trains them in basic disaster response skills such as fire safety, light search and rescue, team organization, and disaster medical operations. And whereas since 1993, over 2,700 local CERT programs have been established nationwide with over 600,000 individuals selflessly volunteering their time. And whereas the Springfield CERT team was established in 2008, whereas CERT offers a consistent approach to volunteer training and organization that professional responders can rely on during disaster situations, allowing them to focus on more complex tasks. And whereas municipal CERT team members must complete certification training and continue to meet monthly to continue education, perform realistic exercises, and to be kept up to date on many of the newly adopted county mandates. Whereas CERT members provide critical support for first responders, provide immediate assistance to victims, have the ability to organize spontaneous volunteers at a disaster site, and also volunteer for local non-emergency projects that help the safety of the community. And whereas since its inception, the Springfield CERT team has grown not only within our township, but share their experience and pooled resources with neighboring towns. Now, therefore, I, Erica Du Bois, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby proclaim the week of June 3rd to June 8th, 2019 as CERT Week in the Township of Springfield. We thank our CERT team members for their dedication and service to the community, not only during our times of need, but every day. You guys gonna come down? Come on, CERT team. And as they're coming up, I want to say that I had an opportunity last year during the power outage to work really closely with the CERT team for the first time, and they just do such a phenomenal job of keeping people calm, keeping people comfortable, keeping people fed, anything that people need during a time of stress, they're great at it, and it was great to get a chance to work with all of you.
Yeah, because I gotta go to Union County, we got a meeting at, I think, 10 for a road project.
Hold it right there.
I couldn't even get Wally out of his seat. Apu has no words, but I just wanted to thank everybody on the CERT team, and we have some of our auxiliary officers here as well. The CERT team has really grown a lot. In the last 10 years, I believe we started in 2008, and they volunteer their time. As the mayor mentioned, she's seen them at work. When we open up a shelter, they're there doing everything. They'll spend the night in the shelter. You can imagine you take people out of their homes who are used to having everything where it is, and then you put them on an army cot in the Chisholm Community Center, and they have to get up and find the bathroom in the middle of the night. So people are there to help them get there, to make sure they have everything they need. So it's a great bunch of volunteers. It's a great program. My deputy, Apu Mullick, along with Wally Schultz, both worked very hard on the program, putting it together. Craig Abrams, one of our CERT members, is about to take a 3-day class in Maryland, become a train-the-trainer so he can train other people in town. Right now we have to go out of town to be trained. So just a great group of people. I appreciate all the help that they've given the town, and just give them a round of applause. Thank you.
Got him.
There's a few more, all very good ones. Our next proclamation is for National Gun Violence Awareness Day. You want to come down? Whereas every day, 93 Americans on average are killed by gun violence and countless others are injured, and whereas Americans are 25 times more likely to be murdered by firearms than people in other developed countries, and whereas suicide attempts involving guns are over 45 times more fatal than attempts involving overdosing, and around 30 times more fatal than those involving cutting or stabbing, and almost 3 times more fatal than suicide attempts by jumping. And whereas citizens and government efforts to keep guns out of the hands of those who are likely to misuse them is not inconsistent with the Second Amendment of the United States Constitution. Whereas the organizers of the National Gun Violence Awareness Day propose that residents of the United States wear orange on June 7th to raise the awareness of and to honor those who have fallen victim to gun violence. And whereas the Township of Springfield, Union County, New Jersey supports efforts of private citizens and governmental entities to reduce gun violence. And whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the wrong hands and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our community safe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Erica Du Bois, Mayor, on behalf of the Township Committee of the Township of Springfield, Union County, New Jersey, declared June 7th, 2019 to be Gun Violence Awareness Day in the Township of Springfield, and encourage members of the community who wish to honor those who have been victimized by gun violence to wear orange on that day.
Thank you, Mayor. My name's Jessica Grant. I'm the Union County lead for Moms Demand Action. A lot of times when we honor the victims of gun violence, we ask people to bow their heads and take a moment of silence. But if we were to do that for every victim so far in 2019, we would have to remain silent for 232 hours. That's over 1 week of silence, and the year isn't even half over yet. And while I think it's really important to honor the victims of gun violence with a moment of silence while we think about their families that are never going to hold them again, it's also incredibly important to use our voices to make sure we stand up and tell our elected officials that we need to look closer at the root of gun violence and how we can protect our loved ones. So all over the country, Moms Demand Action, Every Town for Gun Violence, is working with towns to get proclamations and to make National Gun Violence Awareness Weekend something that everyone acknowledges. And here in Union County, on June 8th at 9 a.m., we're going to be holding a peace march in Nomahegan Park in Cranford, sponsored by Moms Demand Action and the Union County Freeholders. And we hope you can all join us that morning for a nice walk around the lake. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Okay, so next, we're going to take a minute to honor some pretty phenomenal young women who live here in Springfield. We're going to start with Girl Scout Caitlin McTurnan. Whereas Girl Scout Caitlin McTurnan of Springfield, New Jersey is being recognized for successfully completing all requirements for Scouting's highest rank, the Gold Award, an 80-hour individual community service project, and the highest award that is offered by the Girl Scouts and earned by only 5.4% of eligible Girl Scouts nationwide. And whereas we are gathered here on this occasion as friends, family, and neighbors of Caitlin McTurnan to support her and her attainment of the Gold Award and to recognize the faithful and steady path taken within the Scouting organizations. And whereas we commend Caitlin on the Gold Award project, partnering with Springfield Public Library to make assistive technology for people with learning disabilities more available to the members of the general public, and through fundraising efforts, Caitlin was able to purchase 2 iPads loaded with assistive apps, which may be checked out for a 2-week period by adult Springfield residents holding a valid Springfield Free Public Library card, which include instruction manuals prepared by Caitlin. And whereas Caitlin's goal for her project was to provide a way for people with learning disabilities to see what assistive technologies work best for them before making expensive purchases. Now, therefore, I, Erica Du Bois, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby recognize and congratulate Caitlin McTurnan for this outstanding accomplishment and extend to her our sincere appreciation for all of her dedicated work and wish her the best in all of her future endeavors. So if you want to come down one at a time and then... You can feel awkward with me. It's fine. We go way back till she's like this big, so it's fine. Yeah, now she's this big. And I'm still so young. I don't understand how this happened. Next, Girl Scout Sarah Roderick. Whereas Girl Scout Sarah Roderick of Springfield, New Jersey is being recognized for successfully completing all requirements for Scouting's highest rank, the Gold Award, in an 80-hour individual community service project, and the highest award that is offered by the Girl Scouts and earned by only 5.4% of eligible Girl Scouts nationwide. And whereas we are gathered here on this occasion as friends, family, and neighbors of Sarah Roderick to support her on her attainment of the Gold Award and to recognize the faithful and steady path taken within the Scouting organization. And whereas we commend Sarah on her Gold Award project, Get Mobile, which addressed the issue that teen girls are not active enough, and studies have shown that girls do not participate in sports because they are discouraged by the competitiveness or cannot find the time due to academic pressures or just do not feel good about themselves. And whereas Sarah's project encouraged girls to try new activities such as yoga or self-defense with an introduction to agility drills that were held in a high school weight room to help boost their confidence and build strength. And whereas the audience that attended most of the events were girls in middle school with some high school girls joining in, so this project was not too exclusive. Now, therefore, I, Erica Du Bois, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby recognize and congratulate Sarah Roderick for this outstanding accomplishment and extend to her our sincere appreciation for all of her dedicated work and wish her the best in all of her future endeavors. Sarah, would you like to come on down? And anybody who knows me outside of here knows I'm a total jock and into sports probably just as much as these two. So I think that your project is really cool too. I'm glad that you did that. It's awesome. All right. So we have a third Girl Scout. Girl Scout Samantha Nee. Whereas Girl Scout Samantha Nee of Springfield, New Jersey is being recognized for successfully completing all requirements of Scouting's highest rank, the Gold Award, with an 80-hour individual community service project, and the highest award that is offered by Girl Scouts and earned by only 5.4% of eligible Girl Scouts nationwide. And whereas we are gathered here on this occasion as friends, family, and neighbors of Samantha Nee to support her on her attainment of the Gold Award and to recognize the faithful and steady path taken within the Scouting organization. And whereas we commend Samantha on her Gold Award project, Childhood Obesity, which addressed the growing American epidemic. And whereas Samantha has taught cooking and nutrition classes to both kids in the Springfield school system and at her school, the Academy for Allied Health Services, to get them excited about healthy eating. And whereas by creating a website with instructional step-by-step videos, the kids can watch at home to learn how to prepare nutritious and delicious meals, Samantha's project has provided kids with healthy eating skills and habits that will positively impact the rest of their lives. Now, therefore, I, Erica Du Bois, Mayor of the Township of Springfield, on behalf of the Township Committee, do hereby recognize and congratulate Samantha Nee for this outstanding accomplishment and extend to her our sincere appreciation for all of her dedicated work and wish her the best in all of her future endeavors. Sarah, you want to come on down? And although I wasn't at the class, my daughter's soccer team attended your class, and I heard it was awesome. They said it was really cool. So great job from all three of you. So good job, ladies. Picture time.
Thank you, Mayor, for allowing me to present this evening's last proclamation. Tammy, if you'd like to join me up here. Usually there's a designated time where we recognize breast cancer awareness, but this initiative that Tammy's starting, I think you'll soon see quickly why we're doing it at this time, and you get to hear her story and her amazing initiative. And I think thanks to the Mayor, we are the 22nd Township to be in support of this endeavor, and I will read the proclamation as follows, and then Tammy could speak more to it. Proclamation recognizing the founding of Medivivers of New Jersey. Whereas the Township Committee of the Township of Springfield hereby recognizes the founding of Medivivers of New Jersey, a chapter of Mediviver research and support by Scotch Plains resident Tammy Eagle Bowling as an active response to stage 4 metastatic breast cancer patients. And whereas May 2019 is National Cancer Research Month and May 12 through 19 is National Women's Health Week. Breast cancer is the most common type of cancer among women in the United States and second leading cause of death. Every year, approximately 1 in 8 women, or 12%, are diagnosed with breast cancer. In 2019, an estimated 268,600 American women will be diagnosed with invasive breast cancer and 62,930 women with pre-invasive breast cancer. And whereas 41,760 women will die in the United States in 2019 from stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, equivalent to 115 women a day. They're either among the 3 to 6% of women initially diagnosed with de novo stage 4 or the 30% who evolved to stage 4 from earlier stages. Stage 4 metastatic breast cancer has no cure. Life expectancy is 18 to 36 months from diagnosis due to the disease cells spreading to other organs such as the brain, liver, bones. And whereas early detection of this disease is essential, the National Mediviver Organization educates the public about metastatic breast cancer and lack of funding for stage 4 treatment. They aim to dramatically increase the current percentage of overall breast cancer research dollars from under 5% to 30% for the already metastasized patient. The national campaign for this initiative on social media falls under hashtag Don't Ignore Stage 4. And whereas Scotch Plains residents Tammy Eagle Bowling has raised $50,000 per year since 2015 for Metaviver and Breast Cancer Alliance research grants, and widely publicizes the urgent need for metastatic breast cancer treatment in New Jersey. And whereas Tammy is an advocate for metastatic breast cancer research institutions and a mentor to diagnosed patients, she founded the Metavizors of New Jersey Facebook group in April 2019 to centralize metastatic breast cancer information, action, and advocacy relevant to New Jersey communities. And whereas the pink ribbon is well known for representing the fight against breast cancer, the metastatic breast cancer awareness ribbon colors also include teal and green. The ribbon is designed to highlight the uniqueness of the disease and show its commonality with other stage 4 cancers. Green represents the triumph of spring over winter, life over death, renewal, hope, and immortality. Teal portrays healing and spirituality. The thin pink overlay signifies that the cancer originated in the breast. Now, for be it resolved that I, Erica Du Bois, Mayor, on the behalf of the Township Committee of the Township of Springfield, do hereby proclaim that Metavivors of New Jersey, a chapter Metaviver Research and Support, began here in April 2019. Citizens are encouraged to join the national effort towards awareness of metastatic breast cancer during May's National Women's Health and National Cancer Research Month.
Before you sit down, can I pin you? Okay.
Pin him.
Oh, come on up.
Go get him.
Okay.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much, Chris and Mayor Dubuis. I am really grateful for your support on this initiative, as well as the whole council here. 6 years ago, I went to the hospital for one of the most joyous moments of my life to deliver my baby girl. Never imagining that I would need to live my life wondering whether I would be alive to see her grow up. 4 years ago, via a routine mammogram at the age of 41, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. However, when they did some more testing, they found out that it had already metastasized to my liver, and therefore it was incurable, terminal. I know you heard a lot of statistics in the proclamation, and a couple of things that I'd just like to point out is that so much emphasis goes to early detection and research, and while that is very important, and women must go for mammograms starting at age 40 every year, and earlier if there's any history in the family, 30% of women that are diagnosed with stage 1, 2, or 3 breast cancer will develop into stage 4. Yet only 5% of U.S. research dollars go to stage 4. And that's why the metastatic community is doing more to hear our voice, to say if you can solve stage 4, you can solve all of the stages. 2 years ago, I was the recipient of a humanitarian award when I had reached raising over $100,000 for research. And a woman who had just had a double mastectomy came up to me at the end of the luncheon and said, I want you to have this bracelet. It says Warrior, and it's a traveling bracelet, and you just know when it's time to give it to the next person. And I was so touched by this stranger, this act of kindness. So I wore the bracelet proudly, and a few weeks later, someone called and said, my younger sister was just diagnosed with, I think, the same thing as you, de novo, stage 4, metastatic to the liver. Would you meet her for lunch? I met her, and of course, I gave her the warrior bracelet because she was new to fighting this disease. In April 2019, about a month ago, she died. 35 years old, leaving behind a 3-year-old daughter. She was my closest friend in the metastatic community. We had so much in common and shared a lot of the same fears and hopes about the disease. And I vowed to continue the advocacy in her memory and in her honor. That is why I formed Medivivors of New Jersey, and I co-founded it with Lauren O'Brien. And in the past month, we already have 310 members of the group. So many people say to me, what can I do? How can I help? So this group is not only for patients, it's for families and friends who want to be informed, who want to email legislature for better laws for terminal patients. It's a way to really involve everyone. And I think that everybody has really responded well to that. Like you heard, this is the 22nd mayor doing it in the month of May throughout New Jersey. And I realize that you can't put the cart before the horse, which is why educating and informing needs to come first, and then I believe the funding will come. I'll end with just saying that, you know, it's challenging to live with an invisible illness, and I'm sure you've heard it before, but as you walk the streets every day and you run into people, you just never know what people are fighting. And I keep on my wrist a few bracelets, and one of them says, never give up. The other one has my mantra, faith, hope, and love. And the other one says, live happy. And despite this diagnosis, I have found that finding gratitude in every day is truly the key to happiness. And I encourage you all, before you go to bed at night, to thank the lucky stars and think about how grateful you are that you can breathe, because when I wake up every day, that's what I think. Wow, I'm breathing. How grateful I am for another day on this earth. Thank you all for being here and for your support.
Thank you so much for sharing your story. I think we're all just in awe of your strength and your ability to be a warrior. And I just appreciate you being able to be so open, and just thank you so much.
God willing, I'll be able to come back next year.
Yep, we want you here next year. I'm booking it already. Let's go.
Oh, and I also know your co-founder, Lauren. I know she's a little under the weather, battling a couple of bad back. And of course, we appreciate her efforts too. And just admire your advocacy, your courage, and what you do. And it's a blessing to have you here, and we appreciate your efforts.
Thank you. On that note, what we're going to do now is take a 5-minute recess if anybody would like to step out, and then when we come back, we will continue with public comment on agenda items only. Thank you.
They were researching. Craig was researching to find out what everybody else was doing.
What's happening?
Good. How you doing?
I knew you.
Hey. All of it? All right. What? Okay. I appreciate it. Everything else good? Okay.
I'm around. 2. We got to you sticking around. You gonna, give me a call tomorrow.
Ready? How's everything else? I'm Jamaican. Jamaican.
And he goes, they wanted to straighten
People were going on, so ranges. I'm in half of Royal City. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just don't let him in here.
Let him doesn't work. No, great, exactly.
See, that's right here is that people
No. Ready? Let's go.
That's but the teacher's recourse, if that happens,
She's like, I want to get out of
you
here.
have a chance to appeal it.
So you're not getting the order, but you're 100% right.
That's what I was. It was 3 guys talking about it. And it was like,
No, it's not.
Yeah,
let him in there.
Chris, let's go.
Oh my.
Right.
You'll like that.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Go. All right.
Oh, not.
This one.
Yeah, because
Okay,
Second it.
You're gonna first.
looks like we have a lot of people sticking around, which is nice. We're going to open up the floor to public comment on agenda items only. Please remember to speak into the microphone so they can hear you on TV, and it's a 5-minute limit.
Well, Erica, we're going to let them have a chance to talk to our tax assessor, right? I mean,
Yeah, later on.
yeah, so I mean, if they want to know that. So, hold on.
You will have an opportunity to ask questions later on in the meeting in regards to any questions you might have for our tax assessor. So if you're here for questions, you will have an opportunity later on to ask those, so get them ready. All right, I guess there are no public comments on agenda items, so we're, oh. Ha, that's okay.
He's a little slow.
Just grab the mic.
Microphone,
Move the microphone just a little closer to you.
yeah. Please.
William Sinkowitz, 21 Walnut Court, Springfield. Just looking on the agenda I could speak about.
Okay.
And we have that construction going on at Walnut Court,
Yes.
Morris, and Church Morris.
Yes.
There's 3 streets involved in this. That sewer on my street, I've been there 38 years, been clogged, I don't know how many times. I could find out, and I could present the papers to you, I got pictures, I got everything, I can go to the Department of Public Works. This here says, I'm asking you, what are we doing there? Are we gonna dig the line up? Are we gonna make it bigger, carry for 26 apartments?
I don't know the answer to that, if it needs to be done.
You gotta-
Is this
Mike-
on the
Mike,
ordinance?
The engineer can give you that answer, because we're,
Yeah.
I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
And the clogging that took place in your line, and I know we've been going over it and over and over it.
Right.
But it isn't raised at the sewer. I think it was in a line somewhere that people were disposing of things that they shouldn't.
Well, there was a lot of,
A lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just like, and I understand your frustration. But if you see, is Mike in, when's Mike in?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. The engineer's in tomorrow. If you can stop over to the White Building, he's over, he can answer questions. I
Okay.
can't.
Call me first, because we have a couple of meetings, we got to be out of the office.
okay, all right.
Just so you don't come over gone.
Thank you very much. I just.
Thank you.
Sure.
No, thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing as there is none, we're going to move on to reports, finance.
I would like to make a motion to accept the total amount of payroll and vouchers for the period from May 15th, 2019 to May 28th, 2019 in the amount of $8,529,151.62.
I second.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Du Bois?
Yes. Okay, next, Township. Yeah.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adopt the workshop meeting minutes and executive meeting minutes of March 25th, 2019 as emailed, and the regular meeting minutes and executive meeting minutes of March 26th, 2019 as emailed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to accept the 2019 pool and camp report. Does anybody have anything? No. I just want to say that I was at the pool a few times this weekend. I think 3 times, actually. You could ask my little one who's in the other room how many times we were there. And you could also ask her how frustrated she was because it was so crowded. She didn't get to lay down because 6-year-olds shouldn't lay down at the pool anyway. But it was fantastic. The staff did a great job. The DPW did a great job getting everything ready. There was a huge influx of memberships over the weekend, which is great to hear. There was a lot of guests, or not, non-members who came for day passes that were residents, which is also great. So here's to a great summer, and hopefully if we have weather like we did most of the weekend, I think we'll have a really great summer at the pool. And the grass, Rich, your grass is there.
I know. I just want to say more power to the people who went swimming. Friday night I was there.
She's in the other room.
And they
We're
were
gonna ask her.
50 degrees to what the temperature of the water. God bless them.
Yep, the kids don't feel that stuff. It doesn't matter. New business. We have no second readings on ordinances.
We have a first
We have
reading
first
for ordinance 2019-09, bond ordinance to authorize the making of various public improvements in, by, and for the township, to appropriate the sum of $1,500,000 to pay the cost thereof, to make a down payment, to authorize the issuance of bonds to finance such appropriation, and to provide for the issuance of bond anticipation notes in anticipation of the issuance of such bonds.
On first reading, I would like to make a motion to adopt ordinance 2019-09 as read by Madam Clerk and publicized in the local source on May 30th, 2019, with the final hearing scheduled for June 11th, 2019.
I second ordinance 2019-09 as publicized in the local source May 30th, 2019, with the final hearing on June 11th, 2019.
Any discussion?
Any discussion?
No.
Okay. Committeeman Kaiser.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Capides.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber.
Yes.
Mayor Du Bois.
Yes.
Okay, and we have ordinance 2019-10. This ordinance amends the township's revised general ordinances at Chapter 20 to add provisions regarding the purchase of flow rights by developers.
And Chairman, was read by Clerk, 2019-10 ordinance to be publicized in the local source, June 8th,
Yes.
with final hearing on June 25th, 2019.
I second ordinance 2019-10 for publication in local source June 8th, 2019, with final hearing on June 25th, 2019.
I just wanted to say, we have a discussion, but this is overdue.
Yes.
We have to have it now because to protect the town and everything.
Yep.
And this is overdue for that.
I know that during the special meeting on May 7th regarding redevelopment, the topic of flow rights was brought up. Obviously, our infrastructure in regards to our sewage and things like that was brought up. And this is one of the steps, obviously, we're taking to address that. It's something that we discussed with the RVSA, and I appreciate your work on this, and I appreciate everybody else's work on this, because I think this is a necessary step, like Rich said, and it's something that we definitely, that you and John have been talking about that are very important steps. So it's definitely something we are addressing that is on our radar, and it's a step in the right direction. So, if anybody else has anything? Okay.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Mayor Dubois?
Yes.
That's our representative.
Yes.
Always one in the crowd.
Always. So we know we're on the right track. If Mr. Furchi applauds, we're on the right track. We're going to move to adopt the following resolutions by consent. If you want anything pulled, please let me know. I know there's one that I would like to pull, so when we get there, I will pull it. Resolution 2019-172. Resolution 2019-173. Resolution 2019-174. Resolution 2019-175. Resolution 2019-176. Resolution 2019-177. Resolution 2019-178. Resolution 2019-179. Resolution 2019-180. Resolution 2019-181.
Cool.
Fine,
That
Bob?
was good.
Oh.
No?
I would like to pull the next one, which is Resolution 2019-182. Resolution 2019-183. Resolution 2019-184. Resolution 2019-185. Resolution 2019-186. Resolution 2019-187.
I'll make a motion to approve resolutions 2019-172 through 2019-181 and 2019-183 through 2019-187.
I'll second it.
Okay. Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Mayor Dubois?
Yes.
Resolution 2019-182. This resolution designates June 2019 as Pride Month.
I just wanted to briefly touch on this because it is for June, it's not actually for May, that there will be some information hopefully out by tomorrow, I think. We should have some more info. We're just starting to put together a flyer on this. We're going to be having our township's first of what I think will be an annual Pride Month celebration at Chisholm. And there's going to be a handful of activities going on there that we will be outlining probably by tomorrow, like I said. I think it'll be a great opportunity to just continue to highlight the diversity of Springfield and just continue to work on bringing people together in the township. We are not the first community in Union County to do this, but I am definitely glad that we are one on a list of communities that are acknowledging June as Pride Month. And once the information is out, probably tomorrow or Thursday at the latest, I hope that we have a nice group in attendance to celebrate. Everyone is welcome. Please feel free to come to Chisholm. It'll be in the afternoon. It'll probably be around 5 o'clock. And we have a couple of exciting things planned, so I hope to see everybody there. And I really want to thank Adam Lieb, who's not here today, but he's really been a huge asset in helping get this off the ground. And we've also been working with freeholders on this project and some local residents. So it's really a team effort, and I think people are going to enjoy the presentation, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So hope to see a lot of people in June, and just look out for, it's probably going to be June 5th with a rain date of June 10th. Just look out for that info. It should be out within the next 2 days. That's it.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Motion for 2019-182, is that it, right?
Yep.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
All right. So now we have discussion and action items. Per the request received from Recreation Department to approve a complimentary pool ID card to be used by the medical aid of a senior citizen resident and pool member.
I'm going to make a motion to adopt that request.
Second.
Okay. Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Kaiser?
Yes.
Mayor Dubois?
Yes. Now we're going to discuss approve request from Keller Williams for use of the Springfield Pool Field for softball game Thursday, June 13th from 5 to 8. Hold harmless and certificate of insurance attached.
I want to adopt this approval for Keller Williams to use the pool field for softball game on Thursday, June 13th, 5 to 8, and hold on, and insurance certificate hold.
I second.
Okay. Do we have any,
I'm going to
Abstain.
abstain from that.
Yeah.
and all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Discuss approve request from Jewish Learning Center to close Hillside Ave between Mountain Ave and South Springfield Ave on Sunday, June 16th from 11:30 a.m. to noon for Celebration March. Hold harmless and certification of insurance attached.
I received those
Okay.
today.
Good.
I'll make a motion to approve that request.
I'll second it. But I'd like to know a little bit why, what is the celebration for? I mean, we never did this before, I don't think, did we?
No, Rabbi Mendy requested it. They received a new Torah, and there will be something at Rye Deli, and then they've already talked to the police chief about the road half hour.
Okay.
Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're up to unfinished business. That always sounds so like Clint Eastwood. Okay, so unfinished business, tax revaluation presentation by tax assessor Ed Galante.
Okay.
Oh, you're on, sir.
Can I start with one question I've gotten calls about?
Thank you, Mayor,
You're welcome.
committee members. Based on the Facebook chatter, I thought there'd be a lot more people here tonight.
He's disappointed.
Isn't that always the way?
I guess they're home watching. I've been asked to do a little presentation on revaluation. We haven't done one here in town since 1986. Perhaps some of you here remember that. And I just want to say, first of all, that the main purpose of revaluation is to make taxation fair to everybody. Like I said, back in 1986, we did our last revaluation, and since then, everything has gone up in value, but not evenly. There are some areas of town that have gone up 2.5%, 2.5 times, I should say. Other areas have gone up 3.5 times. And so because of that, we have people that are paying too much in tax, and we have other people that are paying not enough, and some are paying the proper amount. So revaluation is going to clear up all those issues. And I just want to touch a little bit on what to expect through this process. Basically, we're going to hire a company. They will send out letters to different neighborhoods, letting you know that they'll be in your area at a certain time frame. They will have ID. You'll probably see them walking around the neighborhood with tape measures and clipboards, measuring the outside of every house in town and business, inspecting the inside to get a feel for the amenities of all the houses, the condition of the houses, things like that. While this is going on, and it takes a long time, other members of the company we hire will be doing sales analysis, figuring out land value formulas, depreciation tables, things like that. your interaction with the reval company is really not much. You're going to answer the door when they knock on it. You're going to let them in to do their thing. It takes 5-6 minutes. If you're not home, they'll leave a note saying that they were there and that they're going to come back at another time, some evening, perhaps between 5 and 7 or something like that when most of you are home. And if you're not there for that, they're going to leave another card on your door saying to please call for an inspection at your convenience. That's about all the interaction you're going to have with the reval company. At some point in time, probably in the fall of 2020, you'll receive a letter with your new assessment. And that assessment will be the current market value, what things sell for today. And, you know, if you disagree with that number, you have the opportunity to come and make an appointment with the firm, talk to a representative. They can explain to you how they came up with these numbers, what sales they used. If you're still unsatisfied, you can always file an appeal with the Union County Board of Taxation on or before May 1st of 2020. The normal tax appeal date is April 1, but in a reval year, they give you an extra month. If you're not satisfied with that, you can go to the tax court in New Jersey. That's really basically it. I mean, there's a lot involved in doing a revaluation, but you're not going to see all that. You're just going to see someone come into the house, and you're going to see a number. Anybody have any questions?
Ed, what if you don't let him in?
Well, that's not to your advantage. Basically, you'll be assessed at the highest reasonable number because we don't know what's in there, and you lose your right to appeal.
So if I haven't done my kitchen over or my bathrooms, it's to my advantage to let them in so that they can assess it properly.
Correct. I think you're better off letting them in so we get the right number on the property to begin with. You don't want to get involved in filing an appeal and then you realize you didn't have an inspection and you can't appeal, then you have to let us in at some point anyway. So I think the best thing to do during a revaluation, and I've been through many of them in other towns. As a matter of fact, I used to work for a reval company years ago. The best thing to do is to let them in so we can see exactly what's in there, and there's no problems.
I have a question for you. I've had a lot of basement questions from people. What constitutes a basement? When does that become a problem for raising taxes and not raising taxes? Finished. Like, what is bathroom has to be? Does it make it finished? Or is it just putting up walls? Is it finished? What?
Basement finish is a basement that has finished walls, floors, and ceiling. Doesn't have to have a bathroom. It could have a bathroom, but doesn't have to have one.
I have a few calls. People who bought houses that were going to last, say, 3 years. They said, "Well, we've been, reassessed already." I said, "Well, how we reassessed?" When I guess their taxes went up after they bought the house or whatever it was. And they said, "Do we have to have this again?" I said, "I would presume so." I said, "It's to your advantage." But they,
Well,
one person called me and said, according to New Jersey law, every 7 years or whatever it is, it's supposed to be 7 years. So I only bought my house 3 years ago. I shouldn't have to have this.
well, first of all, we don't reassess properties when they're sold. There are occasions when the assessment goes up on a sale because after I do an inspection of that sale, I realize that we don't have certain things on our record, and to make it fair to everybody else, I have to pick it up.
Yeah.
So that would be the only reason that the tax went up, other than the budgets went up for those particular situations. Yes?
So if you mentioned the fall of 2020, so people are going to they're coming when? When are they going to start to come for reassessing?
Well, that's hard to say. We have to hire a company first.
But it should be maybe starting this year?
I would say they probably will start in the late fall, early winter.
And then you mentioned
If I said 20, I meant 21, right? During a reval year, you get an extra month to file. Is that what you were talking about?
Well, you said it would be in fall of 2020, and then you said in April of 2020. So I
Oh, sorry for the confusion. They're going to start in the fall of 19 probably, and work all through 2020 to get the job done for 21. I have to file the list on or before January 10th at the Union County Board.
I have 2 questions, if that's okay.
Okay?
One is whoever's question about the basement.
Right.
So a finished basement is applicable towards tax assessment. That is, I wasn't sure if you answered that question or not.
The finished basement to me is a basement that has a finished floor, walls, and ceiling. So suspended ceiling, sheetrock, whatever it is, lighting, whether it's, built in or a lamp on a table. And finished basement isn't going to add a lot to the overall value. It's just part of the value.
Okay. The second question I have is, I know you mentioned you're going to be checking every house and business in Springfield. Is there any rhyme or reason based on, let's say, your house was reassessed in a more recent period of time in 1986, for instance, my house was rebuilt before I moved in 2007. So will I be still assessed, and if so, am I likely going to be hit less than potentially someone else because my house was assessed?
Yeah, that's a good question. To maintain assessments, what I do, and most assessors do it this way, if you put an addition on or you renovate a home, I will change the assessment to what it would have been in 1986 had those improvements been there at that time. So to answer the question, when we do a revaluation, we're going to bring everybody up to today's current market value. If you just bought a house, you know what you paid for it. So the new assessment will probably be somewhere around what you paid, or more, depending on what the market's doing right now. The market has been going up, up, up for years. We're starting to see it's starting to level out now, which is good. It's good to do a revaluation, actually, when the market is level. I'd hate to do one when the market's going down. But, yes, to answer your question, we're going to bring you up to market value, whatever that may be.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Would you mind, just for the people who are watching, when the audience asks you questions, would you mind just repeating
sure.
into the microphone?
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
Is it fair to say that we shall expect higher property tax? Because you've been saying property value.
Case by case.
Yeah.
Will there be an adjustment to the multipliers? Let's say if my house value, the assessed value does go up, but the town does not need to collect extra tax, so the multiplier will adjust down. Would that happen? Will the multiplier stay?
The question is, will the revaluation cause your taxes to go up? That's really hard to say.
Last time I was here, I don't mean to interrupt you, my taxes went down the last time they reevaluated this town.
That's always a possibility. We don't know what the rates are going to be 2 years from now. We don't know what the budgets are going to be 2 years from now. But I can tell you that you're right about the multiplier. If the currently our overall rateable base is about 1.1 billion, and that only represents 35 to 40% of the real value. So when the revaluation is done, we're going to see a rateable base of 3.5, 3.4 billion, something like that. So now that the base is higher to collect the same tax, the rate is going to come way down. How it will affect you personally, I couldn't say. I have no idea. Definitely. Yes, sir.
So, in terms of the taxes as assessed, our current property taxes broken out into the school, the county, the state, and the town. Would it be equal across all of that, or is it just particularly the state, county, town?
The question has to do with the breakdown of the taxes between school, county, and local. I'm sorry, what did you?
The evaluation clearly will affect the property value, which will affect the taxes.
Right.
I'm saying, does it affect all those equally, or will it affect, like, the state definitely
It will not, the effect will be, the budgets will be whatever they are for each entity. Again, I have no idea what they'll be. The school budget will creep up every year like it always does. Everything does creep up a little bit. It's inflationary, really.
Well, what he's asking is, will the assessment only affect the state portion of it? Will you get DOH?
Oh, will the assessment affect the state portion, the county portion?
Right.
School.
Or the school portion? The reassessment will affect all those.
This is the first revaluation that's been done in several decades. Is there a plan for Springfield to then moving forward get a regular schedule of revaluation?
Not that I know of. The question was, the last reval was decades ago, 1986. Will we be getting into a schedule of doing revaluations more often? I don't know the answer to that question. Yes.
I have another question. So if you get that little postcard in the mail, right?
The assessment notice, right?
The assessment, but it says, your house is being assessed at, I don't know, 160,000. So now that number is obviously, that's the number you're talking about that's going to go up.
The question is, when you get your assessment notices on or before February 1st of every year, the assessment that's on that card, is that the number that's going to go up? Yes, that's the number that's going to go up.
And so, so if you're saying that number right now is at 160,
Mhm.
right? And say the city bargain your house worth 400. Is that going to go from 160 to 400 with market value, or do they play around that number a little bit?
The question is, if your house is worth 400 today, but the assessment is 160, are we going to come up with a $400,000 assessment? The answer is yes. The assessment of 160 was the 100% market value of your house back in 1986. Whether you lived there or not, that's what it was worth. That's what comparable sales in your neighborhood were selling for. So now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take all the assessments in town. We're going to look to see what things are selling for in each neighborhood, and based on those sales, we're going to develop land formulas and come up with today's market value as an assessment. So instead of being at 40% of the market value, that's our current ratio approximately, we'll be at 100%.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
When we go through this process, pardon me, allergies. When we go through this process and you calculate everything that you calculate, do you inform everyone at the same time, or is it like staggered as you start calculating, you get information out to people? Or is it like a one-shot basic deal where people find out all at the same time?
It'll be staggered because, like I said before, everybody will have the opportunity, if they want to come and speak with the reval firm. And if we send letters out all at one time, it'll just be overwhelming. So we'll do it in neighborhood sections like that.
And just to follow up to that question, if your house is assessed at 160, now it's 400, that doesn't mean that your taxes are going to go up 2.5 times.
Correct.
I think you kind of didn't, need to finish that a little bit.
Oh, I see where you're coming from. In other words, if you're assessed at $100,000 and we have a tax rate of 5%, that's $5,000 a year. And if it goes up to $400,000, that's $20,000 a year. Now, that's not going to happen. The tax rate will come way down. As a matter of fact, if you want to do a calculation at home tonight, you can just simply take our current tax rate of 7.1%, multiply it by our current ratio of 39.81%, and you'll get the effective tax rate. The effective tax rate is what the rate would go to if everybody was at 100% of value to collect the same tax dollars.
Never seen so many pens click at the same time.
I could see the look on her face. Was like,
Real? Okay. Well, it'll be part of our sales analysis if you sell it. Yes, ma'am.
Something that
question was, has to do with property tax cap. Really, I'm here tonight talking about reassessment, which is going to change everybody's assessment. Nothing to do with taxes. The cap is on budgets. Right. Yes, ma'am. The question was, what about people who have filed tax appeals in the past and they've been, I guess, lowered? Their assessments have been lowered because of it? Is that what you're talking about? Well, it never goes up. We don't do that. If you file an appeal and your assessment was adjusted downward, it's probably because I realized it was too high and I stipulated to a number with you rather than drag you through the courts. But whatever your assessment is, whether it's the original assessment, whether it's been raised by me because you put an addition on, whether it's been lowered by the court, that's all out the window. New assessments are going to be today's current market value based on whatever you have. Yes, sir.
When you meet with the reval people, that's just based on understanding of what it's process. Is that correct? They have no negotiation process?
The question was, will the revaluation people have the authority to change your assessment, I guess, if you meet with them with some concerns about their number? Yes, they will. They have the authority to do that, sure. I have to sign off on all these numbers, so I'm working with them every day. We're going to break the town up into neighborhoods, homogeneous neighborhoods. We start with a zoning map, say, for example, the Woodside section. They're all split levels. It's all going to be one big neighborhood. We're going to look at every sale that's occurred there in the last few years, putting the most weight on the most recent sales. And with that information, we're going to come up with what your house should sell for today based on those sales. We're going to do the same process in every section of the entire town, and the commercial entity too. Now, if you have a meeting with the reval company and you express to them some concerns about certain things about your property they didn't know about, whatever it is, and they feel that that warrants adjustment, they will do it.
Hey, can you explain where this came from? Like, this wasn't something that you did or the committee did?
The state of New Jersey has been after Union County to reval for quite a while now. It's gotten to the point where they've ordered the county to order all the towns in Union County to do a revaluation. There's been a few revals done so far, Westfield, Hillside, a few other towns here and there. Elizabeth has actually challenged the order in the court. I think they've already spent enough money in the court that they could have done the reval, and that's a losing battle. So we've been ordered, we're going to do it, and that's all there is to it. Yes?
The tax assessment is based on the size of the home, right? And the upgrades in it. So vinyl siding is one of those upgrades as well?
The question was, I guess, what different features affect the assessment? Any improvement to a property that's going to increase the value of that property is going to be considered. Vinyl siding is pretty common today, but in the '86 reval, people who had vinyl siding got a little bit more of a bump. I think the idea was that was a maintenance-free siding that made the house more valuable, and I believe that it did. Through the sales analysis that we're going to do, we're going to find out why people buy houses, what drives the market up or down. Obviously, the better condition your house is in, the more it's worth. The bigger it is, the more it's worth. Where it's located is key. So all those factors come into play. Improvements to property like a modernized kitchen or baths or basement finish, air conditioning, a pool in the backyard, in-ground, other detached buildings, all affect the assessment.
Should we turn the chair down?
She must have a lot of those things I mentioned. Yes, sir.
I want to go back to the example you said about the Woodside section, and you said that they're all inconsistent.
Is that where you live? Okay. Maybe?
Good answer.
Some of those houses are, have been knocked down and rebuilt, so that obviously would increase the value. How do you anticipate that a house that was originally built in 1957 and pretty much just being Kentucky versus one of the larger homes that has or is built in that?
I guess the question is, how can we determine value of split-level homes in the Woodside section that have been maintained nicely, but they're all original or mostly original?
Partially, because you said that you're going to be looking at the zoning map and you're going to build by neighborhood.
Right.
Okay, so you had, I think earmarked the Woodside section with the splits, and that's not the case. There are mixed cases there, or newer homes, brand new, knocked down and rebuilt, versus some of the original homes that are pretty much
Right.
stayed. You would find siding for street, or, upgrade on the driveway, paved, paint.
The sales analysis is going to show us what sells for what and why it sells for that. There are so many sales that have happened over the last few years. We will be able to determine the difference in value between a house that's mostly original but maintained nicely versus a house that is all modernized, but it's the same style in the same street. So, and also the houses that have been knocked down, if they've been changed to colonials, and a colonial style house commands a higher value, that will also be reflected in the assessments. You're right. Over the years, there are sections of town where we have, say, a lot of ranches. Pitt Road, that area over there. They've been bought up recently by contractors, turning into colonials, because that's what people want today. They don't want ranches anymore. And when you do that, you've increased the value of that property substantially. So that is also a factor. And of course, it's a brand new home. So the depreciation on that property is going to be a lot less than something that's from 1950 or 48 or whatever the case may be.
I have a question. What if you knock down your existing home and use the same footprint, the same foundation, and build new on top of that? How is that going to get assessed?
The question was, if you knock down your home and build the same house, I guess, brand new on the same footprint?
Well, larger, but on the same foundation, same footprint.
Well, again, it'll be a new home with less depreciation than an old home. And depending on what style you build, it'll be assessed accordingly.
And one last thing, if anybody has any further questions, we are going to do this multiple times. After we name the people who are going to do the reval, they'll come in, they'll give an update, so we'll probably have 2 or 3 more chances to speak on this subject. So just if you think of another question, you don't get it out tonight, there'll be another opportunity.
Yep. So we'll take maybe one, or, I'm sorry, I didn't finish.
Most of the reval firms that I know of, and there's only a few in the whole state, they will do presentations as many times as the Township Committee wants. They'll do them here or neighborhood clubhouses or wherever you want to have them. And they'll go through it pretty much like I did, only they were going to explain more of the process of what they do. I didn't want to get too involved in that tonight because it just gets too detailed, but the bottom line is the reassessment will bring everybody's assessments up to the current market value. The multiplier will shrink, and how it's going to affect you personally, we have no idea at this time, but I will say that the purpose of the revaluation is to get rid of all the disparity in the town, so everybody pays their fair share based on the current market value of the property. That's the only reason we're doing this. It's not to raise taxes or anything else.
Okay,
Well, last thing, you're not going by exterior landscaping, driveway paving, things like that?
No.
I appreciate all of the information tonight. I appreciate all the residents who are in attendance that asked very interesting questions, and I think a lot of people who are probably watching on their computers or on TV have similar questions, and we will have more events like this moving forward. So if you do have questions, bless you, keep those questions for the next time we will meet, and I appreciate everybody coming out tonight, and thanks, Ed.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have correspondence. We have an Elizabeth resolution urging legislature to increase property tax deduction for senior citizens and veterans, and Garwood with the same resolution urging legislature to increase property tax deduction for senior citizens and veterans.
Mayor, can I ask that we do a similar resolution?
Yeah,
I think another town did one last time that we read, so I would think it's important.
I think so too. Okay, public comment on any governmental issue. I think everybody's exhausted. Mentally draining evening. On that note, we're going to move into executive session, and we will not be taking action when we come out, correct?
Right.
Right.
A Resolution 52819, whereas Article 6 of the Open Public Meetings Act provides that a public body may hold a closed session, and whereas the Township Committee will during this meeting enter into discussion the following matters: contract negotiations, redevelopment Gomes and redevelopment Garden Homes, personnel, police, whereas the matters to be discussed in closed session are to remain in the strictest of confidence by all Township Committee members in furtherance of their fiduciary duties to the Township. Now therefore be it resolved, matters discussed at this meeting will be released to the public when reasons for discussing and acting upon them in closed session no longer exist.
Can I make a motion to?
No, not everybody at once.
Second.
Second, third, fourth, fifth. Oh, I took Michael's pen by accident. Such a pen. I didn't mean to be.